Yeah, we're streaming on YouTube. Talked to my wife's cousin in Washington, state of Washington the other day.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he says, well, it sounded like you guys were live before the broadcast. He said, what was that?
Come in.
I said, well, you have to hook up
Hello.
the one because the other one goes live at 7.
Don't say Tony. Tony the pony.
We got 1 minute, boys. I guess we might as well sit down. You want to bring some drinks with you or whatever you guys
Need
can.
any water? Anybody need anything?
You need a water, John?
I'll take a water, if you don't mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you boys can just pick where you want to
Tony,
sit
you want to
there.
sit in the middle or outside?
I'll sit on the outside.
Okay. All right, there you go.
By the way, there's a pin.
I'm ambidextrous.
I think I moved it, but anyway, there's a pin if anybody
Okay.
wants to take a note. These questions, by the way, now are
Suggestions?
suggestions and or time
Thank you.
fillers.
You're welcome.
I got you.
Did you call Wesley?
I haven't had a chance.
Okay,
yet.
I'm gonna need my glasses though.
Where did you
Right there. We're already live on Facebook or on YouTube, by the way, Tony. So
Okay.
just in case you would like to know.
All right.
Welcome, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you
long time no see. Yeah, no kidding.
accepting this challenge.
You have been around racing for a long time. I know I've been doing this for 25 years, and I was holding the checkered flag up for you back
I
then.
know.
Hey, Wesley,
I was going to show him
this is Mike. We're going to put you on
Just wanna-
speakerphone. We're going to go live here real quick. Yes, sir. Can you hear us now?
Absolutely.
Okay. We are ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to punch the button, Mary. We're going to go live.
I can do the button.
Going live.
Trying to make sure that you
We are ready.
Yeah.
Which button do you want me to push?
The red one, second from the bottom.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're already live on the YouTuber.
Hey, YouTube.
We're live now.
All right. Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to the Works Local Racing Roundup. We are glad to have you with us here tonight. As you can kind of see from the line of sprint cars, we are having a sprint car special. And joining me here tonight on the far left here, my far left, you're right, Tony Borgstad. Is that the
Borgstad, yep. It's a good
pronunciation? Yeah, absolutely. Joining us, and of course, Tony, I would have to say from most recent notoriety is the guy there on the front stretch with Earl Walls at Central Missouri Speedway.
Yep, been there many years.
And also what I think very few people know about is the backstretch at Emma Indoor Raceway
That is fact.
for the go-karts,
Yep.
working down there. And I heard you just mentioned doing some flagging. You did some flagging early?
I flagged a little bit for Earl.
Oh, did
Found
you?
out that my flagging career, my driving career, were about the same, not real well.
not real fast?
Not real fast.
I've rode with him. I know.
Yeah. But also joining us, and we'll be setting in for the evening, just kind of on a whim, I invited John. I thought, well, heck, he's going to be at the house and in the studio. You know, I think
Might as well.
three's better than two, two's
Yeah.
better than one, so why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
But John Helm of Helm Smith Racing, and I surely don't have to explain too much about John. We've had you on the show before.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as well as the, man, I got something in the throat. The success of Helm Smith Racing. But John, just a real pleasure to have you back again. It's always enlightening. You've
Pleasure's
been back in the
mine.
sport quite a while.
Oh, yeah. Pleasure's mine. I enjoy coming and, letting people see my good-looking face.
There you go.
One thing about it, you could never do razor commercials.
No. Forgot how to use it.
I think that's out of the question right there. But anyway, these two will be co-hosting with myself tonight, and like I say, we are having a sprint car special, 2/3 anyway. Okay. Let me check something there. It's on. Buddy, I've got it here, Barry, on YouTube.
Well, it's a good start.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it all over, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I told him about some of your exploits at the Chili Ball.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Some of the Rick Arnold.
Oh, did you tell him about... I was thinking about that on the way up here.
We've got it on YouTube. Like we did
I told him he about rolled out of his pants, falling over.
That's a true fact.
Well, I didn't tell him about the cafe.
Check,
Yeah.
I told him about the hotel.
Ah, you didn't tell him about the cafe. That's probably... What was the cafe's name? Lucy's? Was that
No,
it?
Kimmy's.
Kimmy's, yeah.
Kimmy's.
That's a good place to eat. I
It
miss
was great.
I wish I could have went this year, but Hogan and I decided it'd be best to stay home and watch the Chili Bowl on TV.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We had our food there, we had our drinks there.
Didn't have to go out in the
Didn't
ice.
have to go out in the ice, didn't have to do it. No, it was great.
Yeah.
You had 2 recliners set up there.
Oh, shoot. He'd be a good one to get on here.
I know, if you want somebody who knows a lot about sprint cars
I'm
and,
telling you.
and history of sprint cars and racing, that dude has got it in his head.
You talking about Dale?
Yeah, Dale Hogan. Yeah, he is something. I tell you what, that,
He sends me a text every morning.
me too.
Every morning.
Every morning, doesn't matter what day it is.
Oh, yeah, I just got a text said no sound.
Yeah, that's what we're working on.
All right.
That's from
Sorry.
Raul.
Raul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This went on over here.
Yeah.
All right. One good thing. Oh, yeah, I was going to show him that picture, but I didn't get I sent it to his phone, but it was to his house phone.
What in the world?
That's a good picture, 2001.
Yep. Yeah, it was
How
something,
can we
wasn't
get
it?
it on YouTube and not on Facebook?
You looked a lot younger then.
I was a lot younger then. Yeah, to be 20, what, 2001.
2000. Was it?
Yeah.
Right. That was fun.
It
That
was.
was a lot of fun.
A State Fair Speedway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll turn. Let me know when you get it.
Okay. Got me. This is so maddening.
Electronics, you just
Well,
gotta love them.
That's one thing about taking everything apart.
All right, said it works now.
Yeah, you can hear it in there on the computer. Oh, she hasn't shared it too. Geez, oh,
You got too many wires.
Boy, that's
Too many wires and switches.
I'm wired too much. But anyway, let's start over again. We'll just start from the beginning. But folks, welcome to the Works Local Racing Roundup. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but it happens. You just have to deal with it and go on. But we're going to start completely over. Co-host tonight going to be Tony Borgstadt.
Borgstadt, yep.
And
me.
like I say, I think you know Tony from the front stretch at CMS. He's kind of Earl Wall's cohort down there, and
Yeah, lots of fun.
and
It's always fun down there working with Earl.
yeah, and it has been done for several years that way. And also, like I say, what most people don't realize, he works the backstretch at M Indoor Raceway
Yep.
for the go-karts.
And Lakeside Speedway.
Yeah.
I have been last 3 or 4 years up there working with Pete and Karen Darling and the bunch up there. We have a big crew from CMS working that racetrack.
Absolutely, you guys do, and fantastic job at both, may I add. Probably one of the best
Appreciate that.
officiating crews in the business.
No, we appreciate that.
And
we
on-
try hard.
On top of that, he's also a huge sprint car fan.
Yep.
I run into
do,
him.
One of the few times I will leave CMS or Lakeside is to go to a sprint car race, say at Knoxville or somewhere around. So
Southern Iowa Speedway, like I say, I see you over
Oskaloosa,
there.
that's a lot of fun.
Oskaloosa Plus, he filled in one night and did the call on the race for me over
Yeah,
there.
that was a complete disaster. But, who cares about race car numbers anyway?
But Tony was good enough to take on that task, and I called him to see if he would be willing to set in tonight and co-host with me. Like I say, we're trying to spread the love around and get racers, people in, out of racing. We'll even take on a sponsor some night if they wanted to come in and do it. And then also sitting in with me is John Helm of Helm Smith Racing. And I don't think
the
that
ageless ones.
we have to say too much about John. He's been around the sprint car scene And as you can see from the layout here tonight, why we are having a sprint car special at least 2/3 of the show.
Yep.
And John, real pleasure to have you on, and glad you could make it.
Well, I appreciate it, and it's a pleasure for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, the racing community has really been good to the Works Local Racing Roundup in that everyone has been just free and open about accepting coming on and doing stuff. And I've had people drive an hour. Well, Tony, how long were you?
Well, about an hour and 20 minutes after I got past the wreck out here on I-20.
Oh, man.
You didn't come
No, I came up by
435 and 210?
No, on my glorious
GPS?
Siri, she sent me that way, and
Oh.
then she locked up as soon as I got on 29, and I had to refigure. So
Oh, man, that
she's
sucks.
probably on the bottle or something.
Yeah. But anyway, that's the deal, folks. We're doing sprint cars tonight, and hope you enjoy it. And we are right now have Wesley Smith, your driver,
Yeah.
is on the line with
Hey,
us.
Wesley.
How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sorry to take so long, but a little technical difficulties there. But I think we got things going now. I wanted actually to address a question to John first, if you don't mind. But John, what is it about sprint car racing that has kept you so involved over the years?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's, the competition, and, any kind of gearhead. You can't even stand next to a sprint car without getting excited. I want.
Especially when they start and you hear
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Well, you've sat in one.
Yes,
You know what they
yes,
like.
yes.
Just sitting in them and getting, when you first get pushed off and you hit that button and it takes off, it's something. It's nothing like you can't even describe it.
Yeah,
And I've loved it ever since first time I went.
yeah. I know sprint car racing is a real adrenaline rush. Just what you explained right there, right, Tony?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I could sit in one tonight. I probably wouldn't see anything. My eyes would probably be shut.
Is that really the big attraction? I think, especially to race fans, it's an adrenaline rush because, to me, sprint car racing is, especially on the local level, is I want to say the ultimate class. I think late models, of course, would figure in there somewhere, but sprint cars, you just never know what's going to happen out on that track.
Yeah, and you never know who's going to show up.
Yeah.
The top drivers and the top cars are always fast. They always put on a show. It's not a lot of follow the leader racing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of it. But the adrenaline rush to drive them is something you just can't describe.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I think as fans, and of course, far back as I can remember, Tony, you correct me if I'm wrong, but fans enjoy a little wreck now and then and some crashing and.
Yes, you do, and that's what you get with an open wheel car.
With a sprint car,
there are no fenders on that car to keep them off of you, and
I know all about it.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, when it happens, it's going to be spectacular.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a bump and run or whatever. It's going to be spectacular. But
No, and you're going to wreck them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not if, it's when,
when,
and
yeah.
how bad.
You're right. Wesley, are you buying into all of what we're talking about here? I mean, you've raced mod lights, modifieds. Is there something in this line of thinking that we're doing here that it's like a drug? It just kind of takes over your thinking sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare the stats of a sprint car, especially a non-wing sprint car, they got the same horsepower that a wing car does, but less weight if you take the wings off and some of the other stuff on a wing car, and then you take away. If you put it up against like a modified or something, an A mod especially, it's probably a little bit more horsepower and literally half the weight. And then you put more rubber on it, and you get 24 of them side by side, and give them a good old cushion to run off of. It's going to be quite a show.
Absolutely, and for the driver, I mean, we can sit around and talk about it. Of course, John has driven, but Tony and I have never sat in one under race conditions or anything like that.
True fact.
Probably a good thing.
And I'm not sure I want to, but
Yeah,
anyway,
probably a
especially
good
at this
thing.
age.
Not even in a two-seater.
But, when you're in the car and things are going at speed, man, your mind has got to be going a mile a minute. Is that not true?
Yeah, it's a lot of, I mean, we're out there making decisions, but it's a lot of, you got to meet the car halfway and make sure you have it set up where it doesn't control you.
That's your job.
So,
That's my job. Yeah. I make the car good. He drives it good.
Yeah. One of the questions, of course, I'm always curious about between an owner and a driver is, well, I know when Wesley comes in off the track, I'm sure he's got some input into, you guys are talking about what the car's doing.
Oh, yeah.
But just to kind of be clear about it, you make the final decisions on how it's going to go.
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, I set the thing up, but I take his input. He's very astute at reading the track, and you know, if I see something, I'll bring it up to him. But it's my decision ultimately, but I use his input very highly. I mean, I regard it very highly.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, you have to. Plus, he's the guy that's going to be out there doing it.
Yeah.
And your driving style is probably different than his.
It's different. Yeah, and he does some things that I never could do.
Yeah.
So I'm really adapting to his driving, and he's adapting to me setting it up.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
It's a good combination. I've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times too.
It works.
I agree. And to me, something else that's kind of interesting about this, how old are you, John?
65.
How old are you, Wesley?
22.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's only about 40 years difference. So I presume you're kind of relying on his experience a little bit when it comes to this deal about setting up.
Yeah, you know, especially now that we have another sprint car in the stable, and they're two different chassis. You know, John just has the knowledge that he knows how sprint cars work, and even though they're two completely different chassis, and you set them up two completely different ways, he still knows exactly what to do and how far to go on each one, you know, and that's something that when we first got this other car, we really weren't sure. You know, we had information on where to start on it, but John really knew where to take it. You know, we took it up to their shop that first night before we took it to Valley, and it ended up winning, and him and Tommy and a couple other gentlemen spent 3 or 4 hours going through it and just making sure everything was right, and they found some stuff and changed it to the way they do it, and obviously it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, that had to be a task, like you say, and you did that in 2 or 3 hours. You figured, what did you find wrong, if you can tell us?
Well, there was several setup things that, and you know, when they picked it up, you know, it was supposed to be race ready, but it really wasn't. So, you know, there's things I do that other people don't. And I've had people tell me, well, that won't work. You know, and then, well, you know, when I go lapping them, I say, well, I guess that won't work.
Yeah, it sure didn't work tonight, did it?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't do things like some of the conventional things that people do, I don't do.
Yeah.
I've got my own way of doing it, and, you know, I kind of stick with that.
Yeah.
I stick with a base setup, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, well, let's clarify that a little bit. When you say you start with a base setup, you mean at the beginning of the evening?
Yeah.
When Wesley's getting ready to go out there for hot laps, you've got the base setup.
Right. Right. What I do is I set it up in the shop, roll it in the trailer. We take it out of the trailer, put the tires on it, put the gear in it we need, and I watch it hot lap. And that's, you know, because each track's different. Every night a different track's different. So if I don't know how it's going to hot lap, then I don't know how to set it up.
All right.
So I watch it hot lap, and then I make changes.
Yeah. Okay. And how much does tires play into this whole configuration that you're talking about? In that, I know a lot of guys in modifieds or late models, Tony, you back me up on this and tell me if I'm wrong, but they may have one set of tires that they hot lap or will hot lap and do the first, or do the heat race.
And that's true. A lot of times, most tracks are wet when you're hot lapping, and they'll push real bad, and so really didn't matter what, I mean, it does, but it really didn't matter a lot what tires you've got on as far as your race setup,
right?
Because you're going to be sliding around and pushing and
greasy.
Greasy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell how John does it. I have no idea, because it's so hard to tell on a wet, greasy track how it's going to be later when you've got a good racing condition.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm going to step out a little bit here and say, to me, it seems like wing or non-wing sprint car racing, whichever I see. Of course, you're going to have some favorites that are going to be in the top 5 just almost every night. But it seems like the guy that wins is the guy that guesses right on the car setup.
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of it, yeah.
And Wesley, as a driver, if you guessed wrong, then it's up to you, man.
Yeah, you know, there's been some nights that we'll have the car all ready to go, right? You know, we'll come in from the heat race, and we'll talk for about 5 minutes, and then everybody will go to working on it and get things changed, and then we go up to the line, and we realize the track just looks a lot different, you know, and even you can't really, the track looks, as a driver, the track looks completely different when you're in the car with your helmet down and the lights on it than it does when you're sitting there in the stands watching it.
Really?
You really don't know where the slick spots are or the rubber spots are until you're actually, you can kind of tell, and I've been doing it for a while, not as long as John has, but I've been doing it long enough, I can tell where it's starting to rubber up and stuff, and where it's starting to get one lane or get a little dusty and stuff, but yeah, until you're actually out on the track and even walking it, you know, if you get a chance to go out and walk it during intermission or something, it looks completely different when you're down on it than it does from up in the stands.
Or how your tires are going to hook up to it. How about that?
Yeah, you know, it's you never know. You really only need a few inches of good dirt to get those tires to hook up, especially as much rear rubber you have on these sprint cars. But anytime you can go out on the track and actually look at it and find out where it is, that always helps. Usually it's just a couple inches away from disaster, though.
Yeah, I hear you there. John, I wanted to tell you that if this gal was in the pits every night when I went racing, I think it would enhance the experience immensely. Is this
She's a sweetie.
Relative, friend?
It's, yes, Chris Parkinson's cousin.
Okay, because I must have seen her in at least 10 pictures. In fact, I think I've got 3 or 4 more because it had such a pretty face. I thought
she's a sweetie.
But, man, yeah, I'd be there every night.
Parkinson is a sprint car driver.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And a good one.
Chris, yeah, absolutely.
And a good one.
Let's press on here. Well, look at here. Here's the old guy, I think, in Victory Lane. Now, where is this, John?
That's Lucas Oil Speedway.
Okay, I should have seen that. There's a sign right there in the background.
Yeah, I won the first war race they ever held there.
Really?
It was ever held, yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember the year, but...
2012.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, I was thinking 12.
Yeah.
Look at the check.
Yeah, okay. And Scotty Cook, one of the best announcers.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely. Now, Wesley, have you won at Lucas Oil?
I have not yet. No, I've raced there in just about everything I've driven, and came in second and third a bunch of times, and can never get it all to come together. You know, we either start too far back or the track's just too narrow.
Yeah. He's going to.
Never had the opportunity to.
Yeah, no, it's a matter of time. It will happen.
That is true.
It will happen.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. John, has Helm Racing done anything in this off season to kind of step up your program? Because, man, you know, everybody out there is doing something to improve their cars and their program and whatever. But anything you can tell us about, maybe I should add that, as far as updating the car, or like you say, you've added another car to this.
Any racing secrets you can
I'll tell you. Yeah, I mean, where'd that sound? Is that sound still off?
No, not hardly.
No, it's we've got a new frame under my car, and see, last year I don't know if anybody knew, but we started the year, we didn't even have a motor.
Oh my!
And a guy loaned me a 360 and let us race it a couple of nights, and then I had to give it back, and then I still didn't have a motor. So we were about 2 weeks from racing season, and I went out and I think I put a head gasket on a guy's car, and then Brent Lewis is who it was, and then he still had problems with the motor, so he went and got another one, and he called me up and he says, "Hey, I know you don't have a motor, you want to borrow this one? If you can fix it."
Yeah, if you can fix it.
So I put that motor in my car, and Wesley drove the wheels off of it, I think. But we went for 8 weeks. I didn't even have a motor.
Oh, my goodness.
And finally got mine back, and we put it in, and then we won some races. We actually did win one race with that borrowed motor, but it was such a dog. I mean, nothing against Brent, but that was a dog.
That's why he didn't want it.
Exactly. But Wesley just drove the wheels off of it.
Yeah.
And, had a lot of we led a lot of laps with that, but we only won one race with that motor.
I'll be darned.
So this year we've got another car with a complete motor, and then my motor's fresh, and I'm putting another one together. So we should be loaded for bear.
Okay.
That's our plan.
Okay, here's a question. A lot of the other classes, some of them are running crate motors.
Mm-hmm.
Would there, or could there ever be an opportunity where sprint cars might be able to do that, or is a crate motor just not applicable to sprint racing?
No, they use them in some areas.
Do they?
And of course, with the group we have here, the MWRA, you can run any motor.
Oh, really?
So you can put a crate motor in it if you want to.
With fuel injection on it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Well, I don't know how they're made, but any motor can have fuel injection. It's really not a problem. But you know, the way our group is structured, you can put any engine you want in it, and I mean, you could have a Hemi in it if you wanted it.
Really? Oh,
Wouldn't do any good,
Yeah.
but you could have a Hemi.
Now, Wesley, have you driven any cars with crate motors?
Yeah. The A-Mod I drive 3 or 4 times a year, owned by Wayne Graybill. It has a crate in it. At Springfield in last November at the Turkey Bowl race, we actually put it in show with a crate in it. So out of almost 70 cars, I think 3 or 4 crates made the show that night.
Okay, in your opinion, do you think a crate motor would work in a sprint car?
Against other crate motors, yeah. But I think what makes a sprint car is the horsepower to weight ratio. It's just unreal. These things literally have 2/3 of the weight. You have a 1 horsepower for every I don't know how you have 2 horsepower for every 3 pounds. Okay. Like it's outrageous that we can even get these things to grip up and pull wheelies. It really is.
Yeah. Man, that is a lot of horsepower there.
Well, and another thing about the sprint cars, it's such a niche deal where the people that are going to do it, they want to build their own motors.
Yeah.
They don't want to, they don't want to be like go-karts with 5-horse sprigs. They want to do their thing with their car.
That's a good comparison, John. I like that. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, even if everybody had the 5-horse sprigs, they still wouldn't want to do it. They want to do their thing with their car.
Yeah. Okay, this picture here, other than the good-looking gal in the back, who's the guy looking
That's
over your
my
shoulder?
brother Gary.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and that's his niece. I'm drawing a blank.
That's okay. But like I say, another good-looking woman there. Man,
Madison. Maddie.
Madison. Gary's niece.
Yeah, these women are drawn to these sprint car drivers.
Yeah. Well, I attract them. I can't help it.
John, I got a question for you since you've been in it for so long. Let's just say, out of the last 10 years, what has been the biggest change in sprint car racing? Because, now this is a really strange statement, but I'm going to make it anyway. It seems like sprint car racing hardly ever changes, correct? The same car they were racing 20 years ago. Okay, other than the wing. But yet, it seems like it's constantly changing. There's something. But in your opinion, what's the biggest change?
The biggest changes are the things you can't see.
Yeah, okay.
And it's in the engine development. It's in the electronics and ignitions.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the camshafts.
But not the cars.
Cars are virtually the same. I mean, they're getting lighter. Everything's getting lighter.
Okay,
I mean,
so then we're talking about other materials that they're making to lighten them up.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy titanium Zeus pins if you want to.
What's that? That's thousands of an ounce?
Yeah. Believe me, people will spend $1,000 to save 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Or more or less.
Here's my thinking on that, though. You correct me if I'm wrong. I race all of these cars right here on the table. But my thing is traction is weight.
Yeah. Well, another thing that most people don't see is the tires.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like a tire. It looks like the same tire's been there for 20 years, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
The tires are constantly being tested and improved and tweaked.
Okay.
And so the tires have got a lot better.
Okay.
And that's what helps glue these cars down,
Okay. Well, and one thing I think I'm going to add to that, Tony, listen to this, see if I'm right. I think the drivers, on an overall scale, are better than what they were 10, 15 years ago. Because some of these kids, Wesley, did you do racing games and stuff on the computer?
Very little. It was last 5 years that I kind of got into that stuff. But I was already racing a lot of other stuff before that.
Well, to me, that's the other thing, though, John.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, you see it every weekend or every other weekend at Emma. Heck, they're starting at 5 years old.
5 years old.
or whatever, and by the time they're Wesley's age, they got 15 years in racing.
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
And they're serious.
And they're serious.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
I've seen 5-year-olds get out of a go-kart if they spin out and something happens to it.
Yeah.
I mean, little dude, 3.5 feet high, full fire suit, helmet, gloves, shoes, gets out, kicks the tires, throws stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. They're learning it early.
Been there, see?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got this one little gal that me and Mary watch down there well, she rides quads. I think it is. What's her hair is purple and red and I don't know what, 7, 8 years old, but has absolutely no fear.
No fear.
On that quad. No fear.
That's part of it. When I started, the cars were not near as safe as they are now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, guys can get in there. I mean, back when I started, there was no Hans devices. Some of us didn't wear gloves or shoes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah, no neck supports or anything. Yeah, just thin cotton suits.
Yeah.
I got burned at Lakeside one night, pretty bad actually. Spent 8 days in the hospital, I had a cotton suit on.
Yeah.
Should have had Nomex, but
Didn't have
was
the money probably.
It was a $40 suit.
Yeah, that's what it's
$40 suit, and it wasn't required.
It was not required.
Yeah. Well, back in my cousin's day, they wore short sleeve shirts.
Sure.
No gloves, open face helmets.
Yeah.
Hey, back when I had my short 2-week racing career, I raced the street stocks for 2 weeks before I destroyed it.
Yeah.
We welded car seat bolts together. And my gas tank was a boat tank bungee corded in the trunk.
Bungee corded.
There's a bungee cord holding it in.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Wesley, at what age did you really start the racing deal?
I started in karts at 4.5, and then we started racing for championships and started getting more competitive. And about when I was 7, is when we really started getting into it and moving up classes really rapidly.
So you've been in it for 8 years already? Racing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
22, 8 years under your belt.
Well, he shows it too. I mean, I wish I had better equipment to put him in because the way he showcases my stuff, it's unbelievable. If he was really in some good stuff, he'd be spectacular to watch.
Don't give anybody any ideas.
Well,
Wesley, are you on any let me start this over again so I can talk. Are you on any kind of a strict diet or workout regimen this winter? Are you for getting ready for this coming season?
I work at my parents' company, All Metal Recycling, and work out in the yard with the metal and stuff like that. That keeps me pretty fit. I gain a couple of pounds every now and then, but unloading trucks and weighing stuff up and everything keeps me pretty fit. I can basically eat all the cheeseburgers I want. So.
And cheeseburgers are his favorite food.
Okay, I'll remember that. I might bring one to the track next time.
As long as the suit fits, I'm okay.
That reminds me, are you going to get rid of that black driving suit you had? Remember I talked to you about that?
We're gonna have a nice flashy one this season with all our sponsors on it, and we're pretty excited about it.
I was going to say that really nice, beautiful white car and that black driving suit. I didn't like it. It didn't fit your personality.
I hear you.
And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm kind of joking a little bit.
No, you're good. You're good. We were talking safety earlier. What's tough about racing nowadays is I totally agree with all the safety regulations they're putting into it, but it's just the more rules you add, the more expensive racing gets. Tell you what, I mean, to get decked out in a fully custom suit and then get your helmet painted and have your Hans device and get bars welded into your car nowadays, it's going to run you at probably $5,000 just to be, just to have your sponsors on your suit and to feel safe going around the track. It's going to cost you a pretty penny for sure.
It's worth every penny, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking the last sprint car driver that had a fatality was at Valley. And what was that, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
At least.
Osborne.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was back when
Jeff Osborne.
Yeah, I want to say that maybe there weren't as many safety rules, whatever, as far as safety stuff in cars, just 5 years ago.
Yeah, and they're not really, I mean, some places do tech them. Knoxville will tech you. USAC will tech you. World of Outlaws will tech you. They'll check for your safety stuff. But a lot of places, they really don't. And some of it may be because they're not knowledgeable about sprint cars. You know, just like the group we run with, the Midwest Wingless Racing Association.
Yeah.
We visit different tracks.
Yeah.
And when we go to different tracks, a lot of times their people don't know exactly what to do. And but that's what I like about the MWRA is we do visit different tracks. We don't, not the same place every week.
Right, right. Absolutely. But, John, I meant to ask you too, man, are you going to slim down for this season, maybe get a razor?
I threaten it every day. I get up and I say, this is the day I don't eat bread and I don't eat sugar. And I sometimes make it till noon.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're my hero.
Yeah, sometimes noon. But I haven't even sat in a car since 2015. And I want to. I mean, I really want to drive them, but I haven't sat in one, even my own car, just because I'll be wanting to drive.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And I keep a racing suit and a helmet in the trailer at all times.
Do you really?
Just in case,
Just
Wesley.
in case.
And I keep it there where he can see it.
Yeah. I don't feel good tonight,
Yeah.
John. I think you're going to have to drive.
Just,
No, I can do it. I can do it. Wesley, what are you looking forward to the most for this upcoming season? I mean, now you got a two-car stable, so that kind of gives you a little cushion, I guess you could say, in case you crash one. Say it's a 2-day show, you know you got something to come back with, or, you know, just the fun of racing, or what are you looking forward to for this upcoming season?
You know, me and John and everybody associated with our teams, we kind of just, you know, ask us Saturday morning where we're going to go. You know, we've got a schedule, and it's got plenty of races on it this season. But I think if I had to pick one thing, it'd probably be the traveling we're going to do. I'm excited to run around Kansas City, and we're going to venture out. You know, we're going to go to Indiana as much as we can, and do some more USAC national level racing. And you know, we're starting our season off next weekend in Texas with a 3-day show. So it might even catch us out west a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I'm glad I got a hold of you this week.
Yeah.
If I'd
Yeah.
waited a little
We
bit
wouldn't be here today.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it'd be trouble for
We'd be
next week.
racing.
Yeah. But, well, all I can say is I'm looking forward to. I don't know how many races I'm going to get to do with sprints this year. I think you announced the other day, or said something to me. I presume we can talk about Midwest Wingless Racing
sure.
Association.
Sure.
And Racing Boys, what I understand, they're going to be doing their shows for pay-per-view that are not USAC shows? Or?
Yes, they're going to do the ones that aren't national events. And then it's going to be, I think you have to be a member. I think they're free to members or something. I'm not really
From
sure.
Racing Boys?
Yeah. I think you join Racing Boys, you have to pay them something.
Yeah.
For like a yearly fee, but then you get all the feeds, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. But that's got to be a big deal for Raul, because
I'm sure
especially
it is.
hooking up with Racing Boys, that'll really get them out there in the racing community, you know, with that name behind them.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good deal, don't you think, Tony?
It does, and Raul's done a heck of a job with that organization.
Yeah.
I remember when he first started it, he tried to do everything, and he did. They've got a new race director now, Lonnie Pauly.
Yeah.
And they got a new chief pit steward, Dale Hogan. That's going to be traveling with them.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Oh, Dale.
Yeah. So it ought to be a very, very good year for those guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching some of them.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be up in Knoxville when the
Corvette Nationals.
When the aren't you going to be up there when the NASCAR trucks are going to race at Knoxville on the dirt?
Oh, really?
And they're going to race on
They're going to be on
practice
Friday.
on a Thursday night. They're going to race on a Friday night, and then you guys are there for the Saturday night. So,
right.
man, that ought to be a lot of fun.
Well, they also got Ray Cunningham too.
Yeah.
Ray Cunningham.
yeah.
He's doing their promotions and
Is
stuff.
he really?
And,
Oh, wow.
you know, you talk about 3 guys that know racing.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Cunningham, Dale Hogan, Lonnie Pauly. Man, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
that's a pretty good group. I agree.
No doubt.
Well, guys, I think I've tried to extend you out a little bit since we were late starting up, but John or Wesley, whoever wants to answer this can do it. Whoever wants to do it. But, we always say you can't do this without sponsorship.
Right.
So if you guys would like to peel off some of the people that are going to be behind you there tonight and let us know who they are.
Wesley can do it. He's a spokesperson.
Yeah. I guess it's your job, Wesley. You get to.
I'm the pretty face, but he's everything else.
And speed.
We got everything finalized so far, but we haven't announced anything yet. But if everybody wants to like Wesley Smith Racing on Facebook and join Helm Racing Group on Facebook, this coming weekend you'll be able to see all of our partners, and we'll be sure to give everybody a shout out there. Wesley Smith Racing on Facebook and Helm Racing on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this picture here, John. Are you writing Chris a bad note here about next time in the corner? Could you stay a little further away?
I don't remember what that was.
On cardboard.
I don't know. I think I was signing somebody's poster or something. But
oh.
I've signed a lot of things in my life. When you win a race, you get to do a lot of autographs.
Uh-huh.
And I've made some pretty provocative signatures.
Signatures?
Yeah. In my time.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
With cursive?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cussing?
Long hand. That's the way I do it. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, Wesley, it's been a real pleasure, man, to talk to you again. Always enjoy it. You've always got a good perspective about it, and also somebody so young, although I know there's guys 16, 17 doing sprint car racing now, but you've done it, like I say, for a few years, and can give us what young people are thinking about it, which I think is so important for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
All right. Once again, there's the pretty good-looking girl. I'm going to finish out these slides since I put them on here. Thank you anyway, Wesley. I'm going to let you go, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye. One lucky guy. You.
Well, I wouldn't wish my luck on everybody. That wasn't such a great night there.
That wasn't a good night there.
No.
You have to wonder what's going through a guy's mind when he's...
I can tell you exactly what I was thinking at that time.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Wesley. Okay,
no,
go
that
ahead.
was me.
What were you thinking?
That was at Valley. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, I'm going to kick that guy's... But,
I don't think have you got all four wheels on it right
no,
there?
there's one's already missing.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It ended up in the parking lot, I think. But yeah, that was a...
Yeah, it's always good to see you guys climb out of it.
Unfortunately, I've been upside down a time or two.
Yeah?
Haven't we all? In one way or another.
Sometimes that happened to me in the stands one night. Got upside down.
Oh, yeah.
How old is this car here, John?
That was...
Hey, Jerry?
That was 2 years ago.
Put you on speakerphone.
And,
we'll be right with you here in just a second.
It was that is the newest car I've ever owned, and it was a 2013.
Uh-huh.
So I don't own brand new stuff.
Yeah. You guys might want to flip over to page 2. Let me, like I say, let's finish out these other pictures. Where's my dot at there? I can't see it. And there it is. There's Wesley. Where was that at, John?
I believe that was a Double X.
Oh, yeah, I love that track.
Yeah, we won the Hockett Tribute race that night.
Oh, did you? Oh, wow.
Yeah, we blew up at the lake on the night before. We put an engine in the car in a guy's front yard, and then drove up there and won the race.
Wow. Oh, I got to ask you about this too. What was it? Something about honing something?
Oh
out?
yeah. I needed a hone.
You see that? You see that, Tony? It's a Sharpie in a drill.
It worked. I just needed a little cleanup. That's all I needed.
Shoot. And I think this is Wesley's midget here, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Rick Horn owned
down at
midget.
Chili Bowl.
Yep.
This year. Okay. All right. Why don't you say hi to Jerry?
Well, hey Jerry, how you doing?
Doing all right, man.
Hey, welcome to the show. We got Jerry Potter on the line now, and he's coming direct from probably doing some skiing. But
this is correct.
Whereabouts in Colorado are you? Is that Breckenridge or
Keystone?
Keystone. Been there, man.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we drove through there this summer, Mary. If I remember right.
Skiing's good.
Pardon me? Skiing's good?
Skiing's good.
Absolutely.
Right.
How long you been doing that?
Since 1978.
Really? Wow. Well, you probably are pretty good at it then.
Well, I think I am, but other people may not agree with me.
Jerry, I got to tell you, like I said, I think on the phone this morning, I've been watching you since the days at Riverside, and,
Yeah.
and it's been my privilege to do that, and I really feel honored to have you on the show tonight because you kind of go back in racing just a little ways, don't you?
And get back there a little ways, yeah.
About
we
what
started
year?
on the racetrack probably in the 60s, so with my dad.
Yeah. Is that how you developed your interest in racing, was going to the races with your dad?
Yes.
Was he a racer?
He did not drive. He owned a car. And as far back as I remember, his first driver was John Dix.
Don't you
He
guys
had
know
some
him?
great drivers. His dad had some great drivers,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Now, what was your dad's name, Jerry?
Jack?
Jack.
Jack. Okay.
hmm
Well, now there's a Jack Potter that races now. Is that your boy, or is that Kenny?
That's my son, yeah.
That's your son. I was going to say,
Yep.
I think we got a picture or two of him coming up, but you're kind of fulfilling two things here tonight.
Okay.
One, somebody that can give us a little bit of knowledge of the way racing was back in the day,
hmm
plus, being a guest on the show and having someone to talk to, and that's on account of John here. John recommended that I give you a call. There you are. We got a picture up there now of you guys out in Colorado skiing. I don't know what year it was. Don't remember the year, but
Well,
boy, that's a beautiful mountain range and stuff behind you there. That is so picturesque.
yep, we have a good time out here.
Absolutely do. Where was your first race at, Jerry?
Riverside in 1970.
And what kind of car did you race in?
That was a car that my dad and Nick Allen built.
So I'm guessing
And,
it was open wheel.
Yeah, those open wheels, whatever they call them, super modifieds, whatever they call them then.
Yeah.
That one there had I think it had a Chevrolet in it.
And
Yeah, 315 was the engine limit, I believe.
315. So what, they were
Yeah.
boring out the 285 or whatever
Well, they
it was?
were making 302s and 301s. And
Yeah, 302s, 305s, yes.
Oh, okay. And Jerry, how did that first night go, man?
Well, let's see, I think I kept it all in one piece. I think it was okay. Heck, I really don't remember all that well.
Uh-huh.
I do remember there was a Randall kid that was my competition for a rookie deal, and he did win that.
Yeah.
And I think it was Mark Randall's son, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, Mark just passed away, last year?
Yep.
If I remember right?
Yeah, just not that far back.
Yeah.
Might have been in January.
Yeah.
December or January, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it was fairly recent, but believe it or not, I knew Mark from racing radio control cars. He actually owned a carpet track in Independence, and I used to go out there and race and found out that he was involved in big car racing
Real
also.
racing.
Yeah,
Real
real racing. Thank you. Thank you for that, whatever, put down.
Well, go along with that.
But anyway, Mark was a really nice guy. Absolutely nice.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed him, yes.
Yeah, sure was.
Speaking of radio cars,
Uh-huh.
the flagman at Riverside was Bill Pfizer.
Oh, yeah, Skip. His boy owns the track I race at. Skip.
There you go. Skip, yes.
Yeah, he owns the track where I race. We talk about racing all the time. In fact, I told him he needs to nominate his dad for the Carb Hall of Fame.
You're correct, he does. Bill Sr. was a heck of a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, Skip is too. Really.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now. Having a few health issues right now, but he's struggling through it, but he's going to make it. But I think I've learned a little bit already, Jerry, about this next question I was going to ask. Did you have any mechanical experience? But it sounds like your dad was the one that was kind of the mastermind behind these early race cars.
Yes, that's correct. I gained a lot from him, of course, but this day and age, I hate working on cars. I don't mind working on race cars, but I hate working on regular cars. But yeah, he shared a lot of knowledge with us.
Yeah, and he must have known what he was doing because, like John says, he had some good drivers. And I'm going to tell you the truth: the good drivers back then, they just didn't mess around with the guys that didn't know how to build a race car. They wanted to be in a winner.
They got in the best cars.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They would get in the best cars, so he must have known what he was doing.
Him and Virgil built the car that they won a lot of races in. Him and Virgil Chapman built the car.
I was going to say, I thought you meant Virgil Chapman, and of course,
Yeah.
Anybody that was familiar with Riverside, Olympic, Lakeside knew the name Virgil Chapman, I guarantee you.
Yep.
Yep, they did.
Because he was one of the top runners there all the time. But
he was a very intelligent man.
yeah, I seemed like I heard him speak one time, and like you said, he knew what he was talking about without a doubt.
Yeah, he was a mechanic for the police department.
Oh, was he really? I'll be darned. Isn't that a
He served all his days there.
I'll be darned. We got a picture of you here right now in a red #1 up at Knoxville. I don't suppose you remember anything about
that belongs to Darrell Arend.
Huh?
Darrell Arend, A-R-E-N-D, Darrell Arend. I talked to him on occasion. He's getting up there in age, but he still has a car, and they run non-wing up there in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to tell you what, you got this thing so sideways.
Jerry was a gasser.
Those front wheels couldn't turn any further to the right. And you
No, he was a good mechanic also. He didn't have as good engines as you needed back in that time, but very few DNFs. He had a good team going. His wife and son took care of the car with him. So yeah, he had good stuff. Good guy. Always enjoyed him.
Yeah. Of course, these were the days that I recall where it was the brave men that got into one of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had to be pretty brave in them. They don't have the fancy seats and stuff like they had today.
No.
So yeah, you could get beat up in them pretty easy.
Yeah. No arm restraints, no Hans device.
Yeah, we had them then. They came in about I'd say 77.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when the year I got hurt was 78, and I had arm restraints on, they just didn't hold up.
I'll be darned. Wow.
Jerry drove some of the best cars at Knoxville.
Yeah.
He drove the 47 and the 10 and good cars.
Yeah, I've got a picture of the 47. It may be coming up here next. I'm not sure. But do you, let's say, go back into the 70s or 80s, somewhere in that area there, Jerry?
Okay.
Do you have a memory from them early days, either on or off the track? You know, a win, a good run, something like that?
Well, Olympic Stadium, we didn't get to run there a whole lot. I think they were starting to,
75.
I don't know, limit their schedule or something, but I did win my first clean sweep there. I think it was in 71. And so, you know, that track they had a lot of talent there.
Yeah, well, tell me about it.
Oh, yeah, you know about it.
I mean, if A.J. Foyt drove there,
Yeah.
and whatever, it would be the top of the heap, so to speak, for sprint car racing. Now, when you raced Olympic, was it wing or non-wing?
It was non-wing.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever ran a wing at. Yeah, we did run a wing at Olympic once.
75.
It was a special deal, but I don't think we ever ran one at Riverside until IMCA or NSCA at that time scheduled a show there, and we ran a wing show there. I drove the 12 car, the Beaver Drill and Tool car there.
Right. Absolutely. So that's pretty much, you're saying your favorite memory would be that clean sweep that you made at Olympic?
I believe that's the only one I ever got.
I'll be darned. When you were either thinking about going into this racing or during that time you were driving, did you have a favorite driver in sprint car racing that you kind of either wanted to be like or kind of followed?
Yeah, I followed the Welds, and I was always impressed with Greg and Kenny. And so, yeah, I was fortunate enough. I drove for Pappy a few times.
Why don't you ask?
And so, yeah, I followed them pretty closely. And, of course, Weld and Opperman had a pretty good thing going on there for a few years, as well as in the USAC side, some other guys. But, yeah, those are the guys I followed pretty closely.
Hey, Jerry, you've seen the evolution of sprint car racing from the inside. What do you like and dislike about sprint car racing like it is now?
Well, there's not really too many dislikes. The changes have been almost entirely for the better. I guess the part I like the most is if you can travel a little bit, you got some good variety racetracks.
Well, that's true.
Kansas City kind of died out on the sprint car stuff. You had to go out a little bit, but I think it'll come back.
Well, yeah, it's definitely turning the corner now, especially with these non-wing series that we've got going on around here now.
Yeah, I was a good fan of non-wing stuff because we had a lot of good success with it at the time, and but our safety stuff wasn't quite as good. So when Knoxville got rid of it, it was probably the timing was good. Now that the safety stuff's really caught up with everything, I think they're as safe as anything. But at one time, it was getting iffy because those cars were fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder how much, John, the speeds have increased over the years.
Oh, they dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the wings.
20 years ago, much faster. Last 5 years, probably about the same, but definitely over 20 years, they're way faster.
Yeah. Well, Jerry, didn't you move to Des Moines or somewhere up there to kind of pursue your racing career? And
I did.
Ended up driving at Knoxville. What was your most successful year at Knoxville?
Let's see, probably, well, the year I got hurt was 1978. I was driving the Tuttle and Long car number 10. I got hurt at up in northern Iowa, and I was out for a while, and when I came back to the Nationals, I was looking for a ride, and that's when Saunders hired me, the 47 car. That's the only time I made the A in the Nationals.
Wow. There again, so, tough competition.
That's true.
Yeah, so, and, running there weekly, I started running Knoxville in 1977 with Merv and Gene. They lived in St. Joe, Missouri. Excellent Grant King spring front car. Two of the best mechanics I ever drove for. They didn't have any money, but they had really good stuff. The car was always competitive, and just evolved from there. But like I said, 78 is the only year I made the A. And it's, I raced Knoxville every week through the late 70s and the early 80s, and I never raced there when it was an easy week.
Yeah, I can imagine. You also did quite a few World of Outlaw races, right?
I did in 78. I ran the first one that was in Texas, and that was it was still driving the 15 car, in fact. For the first 2 years, I ran quite a few of them. It always depends on who you're driving for, if you want to go.
Yeah.
But Saunders, a 47 car, that's pretty much all they did was race. Tuttle and Long started out, pretty much all they wanted to do was follow that. So, it just went with the flow. And probably for 2 to 3 years, I ran a lot of their shows. I never finished in the top 10 in the Outlaws, so we just didn't race enough of them to get there.
Yeah. Well, you're still fairly active in sprint car racing, isn't that correct? Don't you help Kenny and Jack out quite a bit right now with the 305 program that they got going?
Yes. Yeah, I try to be their crew chiefs.
Uh-huh.
When I have them both there, I don't do as well.
Okay. And we just had 2 pictures of Jack. I think both of them look like wins at US 36. I think he's had good success up there. Plus Kenny, if I remember right, was the winner of a points championship for...
At 36.
At 36. That's what it was. It was at the track
No,
at 36.
He didn't win 36. He ran second at 36. He won at Bethany.
Bethany.
He won at Lake Ozark. And he also won IMC Missouri 2 years in a row.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He has gone 2 complete seasons without a DNF.
Wow.
That's saying something.
That's saying something about the chief mechanic, isn't it?
True. Well, that's not too bad for an old guy either, because he's not too young, is he?
He's a year older than I am, which makes him 67.
And that's your brother?
No, Ken's my cousin.
Cousin, okay, okay.
Kelly's my brother, and his driver is Mitchell Moore.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, right, I got it. I seen a picture of you and him together sitting on a couch somewhere on your Facebook page.
Oh, my God.
Now that I think about that somewhere, but...
That was my mother's house.
Okay, man. Hours...
Gotta get that off of there.
Yeah. Hours, time, money, blood, sweat, tears. Would you do it all over again?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
To make a comment on that, you probably was at the Outlaw Show at Lakeside last year.
Yeah.
You were there, correct?
Yes.
When they did the national anthem, did you see anybody take a knee?
Not that I can recall.
Nope. I was
Did you see everybody take their hat off?
Yep.
No.
Everybody took their hat off.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm not listening. Go ahead. Yeah.
So that tells me how good racing is compared to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Yeah. The American way.
There you go. All
American born, American made, American. We could go on and on and on about
You're
it.
right.
But,
So I don't want to miss out on a minute of that.
yeah. Yeah, it becomes a compulsion.
Yeah.
It does.
Yes.
And sometimes I get disgusted at sprint car racing, and other times I think it's the greatest thing on earth. But
Yep.
We all do.
and it just, but it gets in your blood. Of course, it goes back to my cousin Charlie Kraft.
Yep.
I never really
He's
seen
a heck
him in
of
a
a good
sprint car,
guy.
but boy, I seen him in a lot of modifieds. You know, and what was the other name they had for them classes at Riverside? Sportsman.
Sportsman class, correct.
Sportsman. Carburetors, if I remember right.
Yep.
I think he ran a carburetor at Riverside on Saturday and fuel injection at Olympic
On Sunday.
Yep.
on Sunday.
A lot of them change motors, yes.
Yeah, same car.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. But, yeah. It's like every time I go to a sprint car race, I'm reliving memories.
I know.
Is it kind of, was that same way with you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My first
Yeah,
race.
I always run across people. I've raced all over the country, and I always run across somebody I know.
Yeah, everybody's a friend, too.
Yep. Yeah, they take, you go out of town race, you got a problem, somebody will come around and help you.
Yeah. And it never, I don't think it ever comes up as, boy, that was a crummy race you ran back in '65. It's, boy, I remember when you ran at so-and-so. Oh, that was great.
Yep.
Gary's also
Pretty much.
a member of the National Sprint Car. He's in the
Hall of-
Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame.
Yeah, National Sprint Car, yeah.
And he's in the KCAR the Carb Hall of Fame.
Carb
also.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Very good. You should be.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of people worthy. Believe me, there's a lot of people worthy.
Well, I hear you there. I know that feeling.
Yeah, there's a lot of people worthy.
Been
I know they only do so many a year, but
No, that's
we
true.
race with a lot of good folk.
Absolutely. Okay, what was the biggest win of your career?
Let's see. I won the CMA at the Nationals in '81. That's a pretty good one. I won the first feature I won was '78, the last race of the year at Knoxville. That was probably right up there. And then I got hurt at Mason City, Iowa, and I did go back there and win a feature there too. So I don't know. That's those are the pretty good ones for me.
Hey, Jerry, have you got a story from your racing career, funny or just strange, you can tell us about here on the show?
Well, let me think a minute. I got to think if Shane Carson's going to be listening.
I talked to Shane. Funny you should bring that up. He just left a message, I think this afternoon, that said, hey, you're going to have my old roommate on.
Yeah, I can't tell that story then.
See, I was afraid there'd be one of those.
Yep, always is.
Yeah. Well, just like John was talking earlier about some stuff down at the Chili Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
With,
Yeah, there you go.
Well, right now, while you're thinking about that, we've got a picture here of, I think, Well, it's
That's probably Jack.
either Jack or Kenny's car on a lift here in the garage.
Yeah, that's Jack's is 15 and Kenny's 55. They won't look alike this year.
Oh,
Got
okay.
different sponsor deals, so.
Good. Okay, there's one I wanted to ask you about here, too.
Uh-huh.
It says top sprint car drivers 1988, and I'm trying to I can read it up here. Tom Corbin, Jimmy Sills, Randy Smith, Tim Green, Bill Robinson, Sonny Smizer, Bill Utz, Ralph Blackett, Shane Carson, and number 12 is Jerry Potter.
Well, they were desperate for people to put in there that year. And you can see I just barely made the cut.
No, there's about 8 more on the rest of the page, but golly, I mean, that's a who's who of sprint car racers.
Yep.
Yep.
And,
I'd
be
all
honored
of
to
them
be
are
in the
still
top
around.
25.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
With that bunch, Jerry, I mean, come on. Besides that, you had a lot more hair.
Yeah, I wish I had that back.
Anyway, can you think of anything you can lay on us?
Well, the first time we went out to the Westerns,
Manzanita?
it was actually the California Swing.
Okay.
Went to Golden Gate Speedway. I think it was in Sacramento, if I'm correct. And Jimmy Sills, we kind of got acquainted with Jimmy Sills, and he took, it was Shane and Debbie and Bobby Allen and Doris, Steve. Yeah, he wasn't married to
Dana.
He wasn't married to his current wife. Yeah,
Dana.
Dana at that time. And Danny Smith and his wife. So we all went out, and Sills took us out for a good time out there. It was in San Francisco area, but yeah, that was a pretty memorable deal because we all had a good time, got to know each other well, and been friends ever since.
Yeah. Sounds like fun, man. That sounds like the life. I don't know about you guys. If I'd been 20 years old.
It's not always about the cars. It's about the people.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have loved to have done the Western?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Well, Jerry, we've been having a lot of fun here, man. If you kind of jog your memory just a little bit, but can you think of, are there any people that you'd kind of like to thank for, some of these years of racing that you've been involved with that have been, I guess I want to use the word instrumental in either sponsoring you, helping you, backing you, family, friends, anybody that you want to give a shout out to?
Well, Don Lamberti, the founder of Casey's General Stores, he was the biggest boost of helping my career in racing. He still spends so much money on racing. I mean, racing could use 100 people like him. Mm-hmm. He's the greatest. He's probably about 82 now, and he still has his suite there at Knoxville, and he still goes. He's been relatively in good health, so, I'm very grateful to what he's done. He helped Jack get started a little bit also, and so he's been very instrumental. Of course, my wife's put up with me for 45 years.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say that.
yeah, she's been pretty instrumental. She won't let me race now, though, by the way, because I've threatened to a few times. But anyway, I don't know. I've met some great people racing. A couple friends up in Iowa, Roger Bruce and Tom Shepard. And, let's see, Dick Easter, he sponsored us for a while, Ace Truck Lines up there, and he also had that Oaks ball team that played up there as a farm team in Des Moines. He was very instrumental in a lot of stuff that we got to do. Locally, Ted Hall has always been very supportive. Anything you want, he'll help you do it. I drove for Whitey Harmon when I was back running some USAC. Missed him deeply when he left us here, but I did see Sandy last year at Fred Broski's party, and she's doing well. So yeah, there was, all the welds are gone, but they all helped me get going in racing. Bob Williams helped me some he got me hooked up with Bill Hauer. So, I had some good support.
Not Carl. Okay. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry. We're jabbering.
Well, that's okay. No, I was finished. That was
okay.
That was the guys that helped me the most. So.
Okay.
But I enjoy working on Ken and Kelly. And last year I went to a high school down near Eldon, Missouri. Well, it was Eldon High School, trying to do a career day, trying to get young people back into racing.
Yeah.
We need to do that, boys and girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to keep the young people involved, or we ain't going to have any.
Yeah. Well, I've about decided where it's at here anymore is in these go-karts and mini sprints. Yep. As far as the racers go. Now, the race fans, I don't know how we're going to reach out and get.
One of the promoters, I think the promoters could do a lot better job, and Valley Speedway is one of the good ones for it. Letting those young people in for a little bit of nothing.
Right.
Yes.
You get those folks in there, and of course, as far as money making goes, everybody knows you make money selling hot dogs. So those people are coming there, they're hungry. They're going to come in, they're going to eat. They're going to see that racing, and it's going to hook them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to be back the next week and the next week and the next week, and it's exciting to see that up there.
Yeah. I've always said I think rather than having empty seats in a stadium, grandstands, whatever, hand out some free tickets at the schools.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what Ozark did.
Yeah.
Steve Beach went with me. In fact, he brought one of Bobby's cars, and we had both times we've done this. We had good turnouts, and of course, the pandemic hit, and that evaporated. But we got to work our way back to that. I mean, I kind of learned all this stuff from a bunch of guys from Pennsylvania doing that, and we had in fact, we had kids come to the races that said, "Hey, thanks for giving us tickets," and So it wasn't a great amount of people, but it reached some people.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you got to get their butts in the seats.
Yeah, start somewhere.
Yeah. And then you got to have a product that they can enjoy in a good family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yep.
But for every one of those tickets that you give away, you're probably going to get at least one, maybe two parents that are going to come with them. But it's just getting them there.
Yeah.
And like I say, then showing them what you got. And, you can go from there. But
yeah, the micro deal has brought them in good, because that's where our young drivers are primarily coming from, I think.
Yeah.
And we did the micros. So my son did the micros, and we went around Oklahoma and ran with, as good a competition as we could find.
Uh-huh.
And it was a plus. And, the parents were supportive for it, and they had good crowds.
Yeah.
And we'll get back there. We just got to keep working at it, but we'll get back there. Lake Ozark changed hands this year, and Power Eye's going to run it, and I think they'll do a good job.
Yeah, I think so too. They'll have to mess it up to mess it up. That's one of my things. Because Lake Ozark, I think, was just really getting going pretty good.
They had a good year. The pandemic helped them really. They had better crowds in 2020 than they did 2019. And, we pay attention. I've always tried to pay attention to that. US 36, he started out pretty good, but he didn't do as well at the end of the year, but he's got a good program again. I think he'll be back.
Yeah, well, the track's a lot better too. That construction he did on the track, I think, made a world of difference up there. Yeah. A lot of people were kind of getting a little, hate to use the word disgusted, but upset with the racing up there because so many cars were wrecking in turn one, especially the sprints. I mean, that was a disaster area for sprints.
It was horrible.
Shouldn't say that, but it was pretty bad.
But it was still bad a little bit too this year. I mean, they was crashing. I mean, it wasn't the track's fault. That towards the end of the year is just happening. But that place, if you crash here, you're probably going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, but anyway, I think they've turned it around, and I'm with you. But I still say 2020 was good for racing because it was the only thing out there. You couldn't go to anywhere else. Racing was the only thing that was open.
Correct.
A lot of tracks, I think, had big
years. They did a good job.
Yeah. But anyway, Jerry, we got to cut you off, man. We got one more guest coming up. Like I say, thank you so much for accepting this and coming on, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm glad you've heard my name.
Yep. I got it saved in my phone.
Okay, Jerry. Once again, buddy, take care, enjoy the skiing, stay warm, and we'll see you at a track here this spring.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity, and maybe we'll talk again.
Yes, sir, we sure will. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Legend?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I first went to Riverside in 72, I think, I mean, I'd been going there years earlier, but I went back in 72. Jerry was racing there, and Tiger Bob Williams won the feature that night. I was hooked again. I hadn't been to the races for probably 10 years. I was a kid, and my dad kind of quit taking us. Well, I went on my own one night, and it was like, oh, I'm going to do this.
The Potter family's not involved just in sprint car racing. They race modified.
Yeah, Lyle?
Well, that's a different family.
It's Mike. We're going to put you on speakerphone here. We'll be right with you.
Yeah, they've all Jack and
All right.
Jerry and Kenny and Kelly have ever raced the sprint cars. Yeah, super modified.
Yeah. Okay. You guys want to flip your pages?
Yep.
You might be wanting some questions for this guy. You don't know him. Okay, here's the first question, Lyle. By the way, how you doing tonight? Who's winning the basketball game?
Oh, our girls dominated.
Good.
Good.
Glad to hear it. Did you or have you ever driven or won a race in a sprint car?
I have never driven a race car. Now, I have probably thought about driving a sprint car from time to time, but I came to my senses because I knew that it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when I would wreck that thing. I didn't figure my pocketbook would allow me to afford a sprint car.
Well, that's funny you should mention that. I just talked to a sprint car driver here. I think it was yesterday or last night. You'll like this, Tony. John backed it up. He says probably sprint car teams and drivers have more money invested than anybody out there that's racing anything.
Well, I kind of have to agree with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just a
wow.
very expensive sport.
Well,
It
just a total investment, money, time, blood, sweat, and tears. I believe it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I did tell Donnie Reed last night. I said, you know what? This is a sprint car deal you guys are talking about. I said, I don't think any of the guys tuning in to the sprint car guys will know me. I figured I'd just make some stuff up and tell you how many times I won Knoxville and whatnot, Kings Royal, whatever. You guys couldn't argue about it.
Yeah, nobody'd know the difference, would they?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, man, who was that guy?
But you've been to Knoxville.
Oh, yeah. I've raced modified up there, and I ran a late model up there one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you gone just to watch sprint cars?
I have not. So we used to go to. You guys remember when the Fun Park at Hutchison was rolling? They used to have the World Outlaws go down there,
Sure.
and that was a date that we circled. That was when I first kind of started going, and we never missed one of their shows down there. That was awesome watching them sprint cars on that track down there in Harrod. So that was fun. And then, you know, Harlan Park was kind of developed. I think Lasowski was in on making the plans for that, and they ran the World Outlaws there a few times for sprint cars. And I always thought those were great shows, but unfortunately they put the stands on the wrong side of Harlan Park, and I think that was one of the devises of that track was we ate a lot of dirt when the sprint cars were at Harlan Park.
Yeah, wind coming out of the southwest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to put your goggles on and don't smile. You had a mouthful of dirt.
I forgot to mention when we started this part of the show tonight that you were actually in what something new that I'm going to try and start here, and we'll continue to do probably till race season starts, but it's entitled Where Are They Now? Because I hadn't really heard anything about you for a while, Lyle, because I think I remember seeing you race a lot at Lakeside what, 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Well, the deal that came with the Lakeside deal was I just ran local or Salina and Junction City stuff and went to Thunder Hill. Thunder Hill was like the Daytona 500 for us. Then I got hooked up with Greg Younghands, then on to Shop Quick. Of course, you guys know the truth and all that. But, and I was country come to town when I came to Lakeside back then. I got down there and was like, And then when I got hooked up with Jet, I got a new car, and he kind of helped me get going down there. And I actually ran good down there. I'm pretty proud of my accomplishments from Lakeside, because back when I was racing at Lakeside, the hitters were at Lakeside. And I think that you guys know, Chad Lyle dominated right off the bat, and Tim was, Garrett was fast down there, Tom, and then, then Clint came along and just started rocking and rolling down there. So, but no, I felt pretty good about my runs down there later on, but I don't like to remind anybody about the first couple of years that I raced down there. It was pretty rough on me.
Yeah. You're based out of Manhattan, right?
Yep.
Well, that makes sense then, why Thunder Hill and Salina and RPM and out in there would be probably your track of choice on a given night. I think we've got a picture up here right now of you at Salina, black number 2, Hitman.
Yep. I've been the black number 2 down there. And when I didn't have my car loaded up and nobody knew who I was, there was actually people that cheered for me. But as soon as they figured out who it was,
actually cheered.
I wasn't one of their main guys. But and I've ventured up to Beatrice quite a bit too. And if you guys remember when Langdale ran that track up there, I think Beatrice was the best ran track in our area. Yeah. They used to have all the big shows out there. The Spring Nationals used to be a big thing up there. And, you could go up there. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a national champion up there. Larkin and Larson would come down out of Iowa. And, then the guys like, the older guys with Rex Merritt, some of them guys come down south, come up and run up there. The guys from Minnesota, it'd still be 28 degrees at night. Them guys would be wearing short T-shirts because they were used to the real cold. But, coming to Nebraska in March, they thought it was springtime. So. Yeah. But, that was great times up there, and I really missed that part of the race,
Hey, Lyle, I know you got a long history in racing. Where did your beginnings start? Where did you start in racing? Who got you into it, and where was it?
Well, I can tell you, I remember like it was yesterday. I showed cattle when I was a kid, and we were at the state fair, and I've always been a motorhead. I mean, I worked for a junkyard when I was a kid, but I grew up with a farm background, and we were selling cattle down at Hutchinson, and the electricity had gone off over in the barn, so they had postponed it. And I heard the roar out there at the Kansas State Fairgrounds, and I went over there, and I hopped the fence and went down in the infield, and I was like, wow, this is for me. That was the first time that I'd had anything to do with dirt car racing. My dad had dabbled in dirt car racing, and I think that's probably why he kept us kids away from it. But after that afternoon, I come home, and it was Katie bar the door. I mean, I was wanting to do that, and I snuck around, and we built an enduro car over at a friend of mine's house without my parents knowing about it. And I forged names on signatures for the release forms and went and ran the enduro deal. And that's kind of how my deal got started. Yeah. So I had zero racing background whatsoever. I didn't have any carts. I didn't race motorcycles or anything when I was a kid. So, I was 18 years old, I think, or 17 when I first got the enduro deal. And then, then I ended up going to Vertec for a couple of years, and then kind of got back into it, got around it, and started going. And then I got the fever, and knew that's, I wanted to do that. I mean, it consumed me for 30 years. You guys know how it is, So, I mean, it was game on from that moment on. So,
once you get started, you're hooked. Yep. How was that first night? Was it good, or should he stay at home?
The first night I raced an actual car, stock car. I had to stay in my car for about 15 minutes because there was a lot of people wanting to pound on me. So I just stayed on the car, my helmet on. So, they were older and they were a lot meaner than me.
Not good then, it sounds like.
Well, I know sitting in that lineup, ready to go out in that track for the first time. I remember when I did it, it was I was about to throw up. I don't know about anybody else, but I thought it was going to be the end of the world. Until somebody got out there and hit me. Once they hit me, I was good. Well, I was bad at racing, but the nerves went away.
It has to be a really strange feeling, like you say, that first night. We got a picture of you here up right now, Lyle, of down at, it looks like 81 Speedway, and I can't remember that announcer's name that did the interviews on the infield. But you're up on the little stage there, and there again, it's the black number 2 with the Hitman on it, late model.
Yeah, that was late model. Yeah, yeah. I ran that. That was in 2016. I got in the late model deal. They kind of made a comeback there with the crate deal, and so I kind of hopped into that deal and went, and that was pretty successful for me. So I think I did really well in those late models, and I enjoyed racing those late models, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the drama of the late model world drove me out of the late model world. So, but I had a lot of fun with that, and I enjoy racing the late models. I've actually had a lot of success in the late models, but I love those modifieds.
Yeah.
There ain't much that can correspond with the fun of little tires, little brakes, and horsepower. So I had a lot of fun with the modifieds. Yeah. The late model deal, I went down. I got the opportunity to go down and race at the Wild West Shootout and the early fall deal down in Arizona for a few years with the late models, and then we went back down there with the modifieds, and I was able to do good down there, and so I enjoyed going back there, and I miss those. I miss going down there, but you get old, and then all your friends either get married or get real jobs, and then pretty soon you look around in your race shop, and you're the only one there, and it's tough to keep up with that stuff. So
I like
kind of what happens to us old guys that you get on the Where Are They Now segment. They ran all their friends left them.
I like the crate late model deal. I really do. I think I've seen it several years down in Florida, down at East Bay. I go down there in February, and they have a crate late model race. It's competitive, I think, is the thing that I like about it. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, I couldn't remember the guy's name. There's a late model driver, and I think his son also raced that were big in that crate late model. Do you remember who that is? From Wichita?
Yeah, they're still racing in that.
Yeah.
So, that was part of the drama, guys. That's why we wanted to get back into the modified situation. So, but I just sold my last car this past summer. When it left, I was like, man, I wonder if that's a chapter of my life that's closed for good, or I'll ever be able to get back into it. So, but whenever I get on, I watch the races online and some stuff, and try to follow some of that the best that I can. And I try to go to a couple races a year. And I went to Eldora with Chase 2 times. And you get out there and you watch it, and I mean, you get the bug. But then after the races, when you go out there and you see the guys pounding on sheet metal and changing motors and stuff, you're like, well, you know what? Maybe that ain't what I need to do anymore. So.
Yeah, it's got to be worse than quitting smoking. Plus,
like
you say, if you go back to the races, it's even worse.
The racing is worse than any drug you've ever tried, because it used to be an event, and I have noticed this, that the local tracks that we used to race B&E features sometimes, and believe me, when I first got going, I raced a lot of E features. Making a C feature was like winning the feature for me. But, it used to be an event. I mean, your whole week revolved around where you were going and who you were racing and what, on Friday night and at Lakeside. Thursday nights was the Thursday stuff in Wichita. Saturday nights was either Mayetta, Beatrice, or Salina. And then Sunday nights we'd go to Fair County up in Nebraska at Dessler. And that would be our Sunday night deal. And then you come back home and hope you're still married and hope your wife's still at home. And if she is, you start all over again on Monday. So.
Sometimes they're not.
Hey, Lyle.
Yeah, sometimes they're not.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Lyle, are there any?
Yeah, I miss all that. And a lot of my best memories are from racing, and some of my greatest friends are, still from the racing deal.
Hey, did you get any track championships, or were you into points racing back then?
The only one that I was ever close to getting, as far as I never did race the same tracks. We traveled a lot, so I tried to run some USMTS stuff, and if that didn't correspond with some of our other stuff, we missed out. But the year that they had the specials down at Arlen Park, I think I finished second, I think, in the points down there. I never did win a track championship. I never stayed with one track long enough to do any of that. If there was something going on that was fun in Batesville, Arkansas, or down West Plains, and I'd go down there. I was looking for that, and I think I was one of the first ones around our area that did any of that. I traveled a lot to those races. I remember going to Roy City. Do you guys remember the 30,000 to win? That was like unheard of back then. Roy City, Texas, and I think Kaczynski ended up winning it. We went to that. Then Texas Motor Speedway put their dirt track in, so we never missed any of those back then. So, but I never did chase the points deal.
Did you have a lot of wins over those years?
Yeah, I had quite a few wins. I had quite a few wins at Heartland Park. The guys give me a hard time that I'm the self-proclaimed winningest driver at Heartland Park, because I used to tell them that all the time.
Self-proclaimed.
I think Darren Fuqua and Clint probably outstood me on that. I had several wins at Heartland Park. And then in the late models, I won quite a few races there in 16. I think I won 7 races in the late model there in 2016. I won, I think it's 2006, I think, was probably my best year at Harlan Park down there. I think I won 7 of the, they only had like 9 or 10 features down there that year, and I think I won 7 of those. So, but
that's awesome.
I just had a hard time keeping up with some of them young ones, them guys that are doing it now, they're pretty incredible. But I go out there, I'd like to see what their lap times are compared to what some of ours were, back in the early 2000s. Because they sure do look like they're going a lot faster than what we were.
I believe they do. I
Yeah.
actually do.
Yeah.
Standing out there and having them going by me in the infield, they've gotten a lot faster.
You notice them. You notice them going by a little quicker. Yeah. Have you guys been watching any of the Bristol deal? I've watched some of the in-car cameras, Bloomquist and Strickler and some of them guys that are putting the laps on down there at Bristol on the dirt deal. They're doing the just, practice deal down there. Wow. The sensation of speed actually comes into you from the GoPro. I'm like, wow, they look like they're moving right along down there.
Yeah, I've seen some of that footage, and it looks like those guys are flying around that track. But it's a big high bank track.
Yeah, I was going to say, it should be fast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that they lift.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Lyle, have you officially hanged up the driver's suit and the helmet, or would a phone call from the right person change that?
A phone call from the right person would change that. I wouldn't be interested in maybe going and doing I wouldn't want to sign up to do an every week grind on something, but in the right situation, I would like to go maybe run some specials here and there. I would like to maybe get in with somebody where we can go run and be prepared to go to that specials. I've driven cars for other people at different tracks and different events over the years, and it's been a one-off deal to where I go up and hope that I fit in the seat or whatever, and get in and go. But I would like to go run some specials. I still enjoy going to some of those deals that, down in Batesville. We talked about that earlier. I love going down there and running the Mid-America Clash or the Modified Clash down there, or the Harris Clash up at Iowa. I would like to go do some of that stuff, but I would want to go prepared to where, I hadn't actually been in the gunfight. I won't take a knife to a gunfight anymore to any of those deals. So my time's more valuable to me than that anymore, and I've got other things going on, and if I'm going to give up some of those to go do that, I want to be competitive. So, but yeah, I would look into going and doing won competitive, guys, we had fun. So I'm all about the fun part of things.
That's the key.
Absolutely. Without the rest of it becomes work.
You're not having any fun, you might as well not do it.
Yeah. It becomes work, and then, like you say, if the seat don't fit and things just aren't right, or like you said, it's not a competitive car, forget it.
Yeah. I don't need to practice anymore. Well, I might for a little while, but I don't need to practice anymore.
At least a lap.
I need at least a lap or two.
Yeah, at least a lap.
Yeah.
Okay. Lyle, are there any people that you'd like to thank that, have helped you out in your racing?
Oh, there's been so many over the years. The guys back in the day when I first started, all my buddies, they were fun. And my poor wife put up with the racing guys in our garage every night, throughout the week for, like I said, 24 years. But, I enjoyed working with the guys from, Belleville, the guys from Shaw, up at Jet, Johnny, he's not a Lyle Shepherd fan, but Johnny, him and I, back and forth, we got some things worked out on our cars that made them go good, and I give a lot of credit to his cars to help me get going. And, I was really struggling there for a while and hopped in one of them Jet cars back in the day and felt like I was Superman. But, Jay Neal down at BSB, I spent a lot of time talking to him about stuff, bouncing stuff off of him. And, I had a lot of product sponsors, Real Wheels and all those guys. I never had the big name, big cash sponsors, but I had a lot of people that knew that I was kind of a Lone Ranger and hopped in and helped me with stuff. So, a lot of those product deals, we lost Tony Bone a couple of years ago to cancer, and Tony Bone was my guy. I was on the phone with him 3 or 4 times a week, talking about setup and doing stuff, and he was able to simplify stuff to where even a ding-dong like me could figure it out and go fast. So, those guys down there helped me out with that. Those are the main guys that, that I've always tried to thank over the years.
Okay, now that you're one of Where Are They Now guys, I got a good question for you. If someone was wanting to get into racing, what advice would you give them? Something like maybe stay home unless you won the lottery?
Yeah, you know how to make a small fortune in racing. That's to start out with a large one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would recommend them bring a lot of cash towards it. But you know what? I think there's enough introductory classes that if somebody got in there and was serious about it, if you go to the races one night and say, I think I can do this, I'm going to get into it, you're not going to make it. But if you've got a couple, friends, family, that's one thing that I look back on. The guys that were successful back then and now, they had family behind them. They could go out and tear up the car, and they come in, and mom and dad still pat them on the back and said, hey, good job, we're going to fix it, come back. There's classes for kids to get in now. I mean, starting with carts, going on up. That B-modified class is a good class. It's structured around you can build a motor still, or you can run a crate. And it's fairly inexpensive for what it is, and there's a lot of tracks that run. And, I would recommend someone like that getting in, starting out to get into a B-mod. In the stock car classes, whether it be IMCA or USRA or whatever, I think they've got similar rules. I think those are still something that a guy can go get pieces from the junkyard and come home and bolt on and still be able to go out and race. The hobby stock classes and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So,
stock
I would recommend someone go in that direction. Let me tell you guys, it's funny. When I first got going, I got my first Speedway magazine, and I thought, holy cow, you can buy this stuff? We've been whittling stuff and making it in the garage and cobbling it together the best we could for 2 or 3 years before I realized you could buy stuff from an actual speed shop.
Yeah, that had to be a wake-up call.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a picture here that I took off of your Facebook page today, and it looks like a black man standing by a lake, and I'm not even sure he's got a whatever you call it on. But what is that all about?
That was my my avatar. Do you remember when those came out? Everybody was making their own deals that it was supposed to be them or whatever.
Yeah.
I put that one on as my avatar.
Okay.
Great big guy out by the lake. So I put that on there. I had a lot of comments on that. Everybody thought that was fun.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
looked
like
at that,
that part.
and I thought, is this on his pit crew or what? Or they stop at a lake on their travels? Or
I
what?
tell everybody, that's me in the morning waiting in front of the shower for the water to warm up.
Anyway, it was pretty cute. Like I said, I couldn't pass it up. But anyway, time is running out here on us, Lyle. And I appreciate you, talking with us. It's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed it. And now I know where you are.
Well, I've been watching you guys' videos for years, so I'm glad to have an opportunity to come on. I enjoyed it. So I hope that when I hang up, I don't get the racing bug. But if I do, you'll see me out there running around.
Okay, man. All right. Once again, Lyle, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And, man, it's been fun talking with you. And whatever happens down the road, why, I'll be watching for the Hitman.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks for emailing, guys. I enjoyed it.
Okay, man.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
being-
Okay.
That was delightful.
Lyle Shepard. Like I knew he would do a good job because he's just a character. I don't know how else to explain it, but
Had 3 good guests there tonight.
yes, I agree.
Three,
Jerry Potter was. I just so enjoyed talking to that guy because there again, it's another one of those rush of memories. I mean, I can remember seeing him on the track.
Yep.
I can remember seeing him in the winner's circle
33.
at Riverside.
Yep.
I can see it. But just a fun show. Like I say, 2/3 sprint cars. Actually, I think I admitted it earlier. I really thought Lyle was a sprint car driver, but it was Billy Robinson I was thinking of. The Beaver Tool.
Right.
He drove that for a number of years. I wish I could have got a hold of Billy.
Well, he's passed away.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
no wonder. Okay, see, shows you what I know about this stuff. But anyway, it would have been fun. But I think that's pretty much going to do it. Tony, you got any summations or closing comments that you would like to
I'll
make?
tell you what, I had a blast up there. It's fun. I was, quite honestly, I was a little nervous before I came up here. But we've got some good racing coming up. I've got these guys going to be putting on a heck of a show all over the Midwest with
MWRA.
The, MWRA and our local tracks. We've got this Saturday I've got a go-kart race there in Emma, and
that's supposed to be quads this Saturday.
no, I think it's karts, and then we've got.
Oh, it is karts. It's karts 2 weeks in a row.
Yep, because we have the Mega
2 weeks in a
Maloo.
row.
The Bruce Lyle Memorial is going to be a big one.
2 days.
Yeah, 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Yeah, I think we're doing 2 days. I think we can say that. I think that's okay. I haven't.
You're going to try.
Well, normally, Cheeseworks does not promote where we're going to be because we don't want to hurt attendance at the track when we go.
Yeah.
Because it's live streaming.
Yeah.
So we don't usually announce it, but they had asked us if we would come down for the quads and the go-karts.
We enjoyed having you. I like seeing you sitting up there.
Yeah.
I want you guys sitting up there. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
We've got a big meeting for Central Missouri Speedway this Saturday. Us and Lakeside are going into the NASCAR banner. So we all had to buy a lot of NASCAR licenses, and it'll be interesting. I kind of get a brief look at the rules, and they're basically the same rules.
Same stuff.
There are a few differences, but license fees and that kind of stuff.
But other
looking
benefits.
forward to that. Oh yeah, big benefits, insurance especially.
Yeah.
We've got the Lake Ozark is going to be putting on a lot of good racing this year. Lucas, I-70 is going to open.
Yeah. Well, and going back to CMS, they're going with the super stocks.
Yes, that's going to be a Power Eye deal for Super Stocks. The Power Eye is going to sanction that. So they're going to be separate from the NASCAR sanctioning.
Yeah.
But there's and you can thank Sam Steckland for this.
Yeah.
He went around last fall and talked to different
yes, he did.
promoters and got this arranged where we're all in the same rules package. So guys at Lucas or Springfield or down in Arkansas or out in Kansas can all come and
Tracks working together?
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
Whoa. That's new.
Sam Steckland has an art.
Watch it now, John.
All right. Sam has an art to be able to go out and
organize things.
And organize things. He's amazing at it.
Well, wasn't he deeply involved in ULMA?
Yes, he's got it started.
Got that started.
Got that going, and I enjoyed watching those guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And so we've got a big year coming. Lakeside has a big year coming. I can't wait. And of course, I'm going to be up there for the weekend. These guys are in Knoxville with the Camping World trucks. I'm going to be up there for that.
Oh, wow.
And we're off the weekend after 4th of July from Warrensburg, so I'll see if I can get Pete to beg off on Friday night to go up there and watch that. And of course, Hogan, he's already decided he's going to be staying in my motorhome that weekend. So
I might be there too.
all right, we'll find your room. Come on down.
I might be in it too. Yeah.
John?
Hey, I want to remind everybody, Sunday at the Extreme Colors over in Chad Freewalt's place is the MWRA rules meeting. Plus, there's going to be...
And that is for?
That's for the USAC Midwest Racing Association.
The sprints?
The sprint cars, yeah.
Sprint cars, okay.
And they're also at 11, the meeting I think starts at 10, but at 11 o'clock there's going to be a sprint car and midget swap meet all day long.
At Freewalt's?
At Freewalt's place from 11 o'clock.
Well, I hadn't heard about
they'll
that.
They're going to have a barbecue truck there for food, and
Nice.
it's going to be from 11 o'clock until the last person buys all my parts.
All your?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Sounds like fun. Like you say, a lot of things to anticipate for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
But,
It's looking good.
Yeah. Just let me say again, Tony, I appreciate you accepting the challenge for this. I figured you'd be a little, but man, you handled the announcing just.
He did great.
Perfect.
He did great.
Did good
I
on
don't
the
know about all
co-hosting.
that because I was still a little nervous.
Well, I understand it. I've been through it. I know how it is. And John, I appreciate you sitting in with us. Kind of a last minute deal
Another pleasure.
with that. But
fun.
you did good.
Anytime I'm around Tony, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, I figured you two get together.
Yeah, we have a blast when we get to
Oh, man.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time.
Something happens.
But anyway, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up here tonight on behalf of Tony and John and myself. As we always say, if you like the show, I tell you what, call somebody, tell someone, start a watch party. Just get us some more people to watch, because I think the more people that we get interested in it, the better it's going to be for the local racing community. And as I always say every week also, we know we may not have your favorite driver on this week, so you're not interested. That's okay. We understand. But I'll tell you what, just check on Cheeseworks videos on Facebook and see who the lineup's going to be. I usually try to post it by at least 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, so that everybody can be prepared and either call the friends up and say, oh, that show ain't going to be worth nothing.
Not going to watch
Get
it today.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it today. Oh, hey, guess what? They're having sprint cars tonight or modifieds or whatever. And, but, you know, just check in and see what's going to be going on. And plus, the racing season's coming up, and we'll be doing some live streaming somewhere. We'll find some place to go and do it, as long as somebody will let us do it. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show, because I know we had a good time.
Oh, yeah, that's a blast.
Great time.
Boy, if I'd have been thinking about it, I'd have worn my helm racing shirt.
You should have.
Anyway, folks, that's going to wrap it up for tonight on behalf of these guys and all of the great guests. Once again, Wesley Smith calling in, Jerry Potter in Colorado for letting us talk to him, and, of course, Lyle Shepard. Or where are they now? I'm kind of interested to see where this is going to go with where are they now.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
could
kind of
get
a
to
neat
be
deal.
some interesting
Kind
people.
of like that first ever Knoxville Nationals queen we interviewed.
Oh,
up there.
yes, yes. Did you hear that, John?
Not yet.
She works down at, what's the restaurant?
Mr. C's.
Mr.
C's,
C's.
okay,
She works
yeah.
at Mr. C's.
Yep.
She was the first Knoxville Nationals queen.
Yeah.
And she knew somebody, the promoter back then.
Yeah.
Marion Robinson.
No. He used to be a race car driver. But anyway, he was a promoter at Knoxville.
Oh.
But he was her teacher in high school or something. And she
That's
said,
Capitani. Ralph Capitani.
yes, I think it was Capitani. He said, would you be interested in being in Knoxville? No runoff, no election, nothing.
Yeah.
Just would you like to
You're
do
it.
So
she didn't get a tiara or anything.
Yeah.
Whenever so
I bought a tiara and gave it to her.
Oh, so she finally got it.
We interviewed her at probably age, what do you think, 35, 40?
yeah, something like that.
And we gave her a tiara and talked about her being selected. We had a grand time.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, she was just taking a little dab.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
videoed it.
We did.
did.
We
Oh, you
did.
did. It's
We
out
did.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Good.
But anyway, folks, we're starting another show here.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed it.
I know it.
fun.